It is the year 3000. My goal is to explore the universe, visiting different planets in search of ancient treasures. Our AI has found some on planet Earth, called video games, movies, and books. I'll try to learn different languages used on the planet Earth. One of them is English. I'm sorry for the mistakes, as it will take me a long time to master it. By the way, I almost forgot to say that I'm a robot. Yes, an intergalactic robot collector. My name is Spectrum, and this is my travel diary. In this video, I will be showcasing this video game called Castle of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse. Well, without any further ado, let's start! Ash, start the hologram. Sorry, Ash is fantasized trying to understand this artwork. Now yes, start the hologram. Castle of Illusion, COI for short, is a video game made in 1990 by Sega. It was released for the Sega Genesis or Mega Drive, Master System and Game Gear. Then it got an HD remake in 2013, also by Sega, for PlayStation, Xbox and Microsoft Windows, which is the game that I'm gonna be talking about in this video. To identify this game's genre, we can use the following graphic. I'm going to position it in the platformer genre, although it also has high amounts of adventure genre. It does not have RPG or Metroidvania elements. I must also add that this is a 2.5D game and that it cannot be played online, and also does not allow cooperative or multiplayer modes. There are neither in-app purchases nor external purchases. In the same graphic, we can see other similar games such as the Epic Mickey Saga, the Crash Bandicoot Saga and DuckTales Remastered. We can also use this other graphic to know what audience was it made for. However, in the Explorers part of the graphic, slightly towards the Achievers, it has a wide variety of levels, Explorers, and several completionism aspects, Achievers, but has no interaction with other players, who are the killers and the socializers. About the difficulty, we can use this final graphic to determine how well balanced it is in terms of, as I said, difficulty. Here, I would say that it manages to get in the flow zone quite well due to balanced difficulty. Maybe a little towards the boring side, not necessarily because it causes boredom, rather because it's quite easy to finish, even when it comes to completing it and getting all the achievements. But this game was made for a young audience, so I think it fits well inside of the flow zone. The game begins with Mickey Mouse and Minnie camping when the evil witch Mizabel kidnaps Minnie to steal her beauty, taking her to her castle. Mickey follows Mizabel into the Castle of Illusion, and then you are dropped off at the entrance of the castle, basically the tutorial for this game. After this, you can enter the castle, which is like a hub where you can access all the different levels, starting with the Enchanted Forest. Each level has 3 parts. The first 2 are just above normal, and the third is a boss battle. Castle of Illusion has a grand total of 6 boss battles. After beating the Enchanted Forest, level 1, you'll get to level 2, Toilet, and fight the Jack in the Box boss. It's a bit difficult at the start, but very easy after a few tries. All you have to do is dodge its attacks, and once the Jack in the Box throws its fist, you just have to sneak for it to hit itself. Then there is level 3, the Storm, an underwater level. All in all, quite original and it increases the difficulty a bit. The Mer People are in my opinion the first difficult boss, although still not that challenging. because all you gotta do is swim around and dodge the falling rocks and stone platforms, while don't run into one of the mer people. Then just jump over them and on their head. The library is slightly more annoying because of the bookworms and living eggs, but it gets more interesting when you get to Candyland, the second part of the library. It provides more difficulty than before, especially when it comes to jumping on the cookies to avoid falling into the milk. The boss of this level, the Tree Dragon, is more complicated than the previous one, but mainly because you have to do several quick, precise jumps in the 3D mode, which is quite hard. Finally, the last level, the castle. Not to be mistaken with the castle where you access all the levels. Overall, a very straightforward level with many vampire bats and knights. The boss, the oath, is not difficult at all, especially when compared to the mer people and maybe even the Tree Dragon. After you've done all that, you've probably already realized that every time you beat a boss, you get a rainbow gem, which you can then use to build a rainbow bridge to Misabel's tower. At the beginning of the last boss fight, you have to climb the tower, which is not that hard, but it gets more annoying when you run out of lives and have to start over from the beginning, but after all, not that hard. Then there is the boss herself, Misabel, who is quite difficult, mainly for three things. One, because of her circling phase, in which she summons a circle that you have to jump in and out of without touching its perimeter. Two, due to the lack of space to move in her later phases, due to the floor being progressively destroyed. And three, because of her last phase, where she basically combines all of her attacks at once, so you can't really use the same strategies as before. About the completionism part of COI, it's actually pretty easy to finish. The hardest part is probably getting all the 100 diamonds and some of the achievements. Now, I'll show you what there is to complete in Castle of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse. The main completionism aspect of this game are the diamonds. There are 800 of them across all the levels, plus the inside and outside of the castle. They're not that hard to get, but some of them can be quite difficult without a video guide showing you their locations. I must also say that it does get a bit repetitive having to go through each level after finishing them to get all of the diamonds. Then there are the 5 magic playing cards and the also 5 Donut's Chili Peppers. These are hidden collectibles in all levels except the boss levels. Again, it can be a bit difficult to find them without a video guide, but still possible. Magic playing cards unlock the Magician outfit, a costume, basically a reskin for Mickey Mouse. And Donut's Chili Peppers unlock the Explorer outfit, also a costume. There is one last costume though, the Knight outfit, which you unlock after beating Misabel the first time. Then there are the 10 castle statue pieces, castle statues, and the castle paintings. To assemble the castle statues, you need castle statue pieces. There is one exception to this though. Misabel's statue is unlocked by just beating her. The pieces are hidden in all of the levels minus boss levels. Castle paintings are unlocked by completing levels, which means getting all the diamonds, magic playing cards or Donut's Chili Peppers, and the castle statue pieces. However, some of these can be unlocked by just beating the levels without the need to obtain saved items. Finally, there are the achievements. Most of them are unlocked just by playing the game and doing what I said, except some of them like TikTok, beating a level in time out of nowhere, like personal records, not having to complete the level in a certain amount of time in this case, or Super Bounce, bounce on 7 enemies without touching the ground. Well guys, that's all for this video. I'll say goodbye with a greeting that I learned from the humans.